Alright everybody, welcome back. We're gonna get right back into it because, I love this VN so much already. It's just so happy. Confederate flags aside. The dealer's den just opened, so it's absolutely packed with bodies in various states of over and underdress. On some level, this place is deeply silly. I recognize that. A grand bazaar filled with cartoon wolves with the occasional rainbow or jockstrap. Or rainbow jockstrap. But in a different room, this would all be seen as a political statement. Its existence would be cause for debate, and I'd be afraid to be caught browsing, lest I be implicated. Instead, all I see is dozens of talented artists showing us exactly what they're capable of, unbothered and uncontroversial. I'm struck by the realization that the usual feeling of shame isn't natural, it's inflicted. No, we're not gonna just walk by that. I know we just started the video and it's a little early to get me yapping, but we're not gonna just walk by that. Instead, all I see is dozens of talented artists showing us exactly what they're capable of, unbothered and uncontroversial. I'm struck by the realization that the usual feeling of shame isn't natural, it's inflicted. I feel like that's been said before, right? But that is incredibly profound. And honestly, that's something that I really agree with, because this whole series I've been, occasionally mentioning the concept of identity and who you are, and being a furry, being gay, being trans, and all that. And I find this statement incredibly profound, and I genuinely feel the need to just sit with it for a second. And that's honestly kind of been the playbook for a lot of places, is to teach people to hide away who they are, to shame people who deviate from the norm. And that is wretched and absolutely fucking vile. Because the sad truth is, it works. It started out as seriously, it started out as illegal to be gay. Then it became, okay, it's not illegal, but don't you fucking dare do it in front of me. And if people actively go out of their way to fuck with you because you are, nobody cares. And then we progressed a little bit from there, but it's just a matter of, it's a fight. It is a never-ending fight until people can learn that a person is still a fucking person no matter who they love. And that's not me going out saying like, yes, we need to really, really push the envelope and we need to, teach them that all love is valid without question. No. Skepticism is good. Questioning for clarity is good. Because, I'm gonna be real, if you're a zoo, or if you're an... I can't say the other word, but the... I'm not gonna use their language. The people who view age as just a number, you know what I mean? No, your love is not valid because that's not fucking love. That's a primal urge that comes from a sickness that's inside of you to prey upon those that cannot adequately defend themselves or understand what is happening to them. People are told to get in line or get out. And when they choose to get out, suddenly they become surrounded by everybody else who got in line, air quotes, and tells you, well, you need to get in line with us or get out. It doesn't matter how many times you move, you're always going to suddenly be surrounded by people who think that you're the problem. Again, look at Blue Sky. Blue Sky was pretty much the queer, furry place to be, and then a bunch of people from the Bird app fucking waltzed on over and said, look, you furries need to stop being so damn horny. Fuck you. Like, actually. Go fuck yourself. If you can't surf with the furries, get off of Blue Sky. Like, that's really what it is. It's like, you don't get to come to a place that was made in response to fucking the Bird app being all cranky and anti and ran by a jackass and everything, and be like, this is no longer your space, this is our space, and you must adhere to our rules since we have arrived here. Like, no, go fuck yourself, you entitled snowflake. Because that's really what people who think that way are. They're a self-entitled snowflake. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter if you're 80-year-old Peepaw who still wears his red hat, even, like, he still wears his red hat. You know which one I mean. Or if you're a little fucking 16-year-old who has decided that furries are fucking icky. You're just an entitled little snowflake that doesn't know how the fucking block button works. Rather than curating your own space and making what algorithms are there understand you're not interested, you decide, no, I don't have to do anything. You have to. You need to stop. I hate it. Because that's just the next step of inflicted shame. But for real this time, let's continue. There's a small line poking out of a tent? Indoors? Mysterious. Of course I need to see what they're hiding in there. When I lift the flap, I'm really taken aback by what I see inside. It's the Sistine Chapel of wolf abs in here. From floor to ceiling, the interior is covered with paintings that have been printed on huge tapestries, lit only by a few flickering electronic candles. This would already be impressive art to scroll past on your phone, but presented like this, each composition has a commanding presence. All around me are tenderly rendered canines painted in heavy, confident brushstrokes that are nonetheless flexible enough to depict sunlight shining through soft fur. Sometimes with their asses out. They're beautiful! The comment slips out involuntarily. The artist seated behind a folding table smiles at me. I know I didn't say anything wrong, but the accidental moment of sincerity does knock me off balance, so I take their card and excuse myself from the room. Once again, inflicted shame. I'm gonna be real. Don't be Germany, don't be Britain. It's like don't be American TV shows either, where, you know, it's like cut to like 3 dramatic booms as you cut to different people's faces and then Gordon Ramsay punches like a fish fillet. Don't be that. But at the same time, don't be fucking British TV where it's like we cut to a dude hanging upside down and the announcer says, "Alright, Charles, it seems that you've lost the competition, therefore we're going to have to execute you. It's a matter of course, you see." And he goes, and then Charles is like, "Oh, bugger. Oh well, I've had a good run of it. Yes," and then the announcer's like, "Yes, well, we brought your wife here to witness the execution." And the lady goes, "Yes, it's a rather grim time for me, but I believe that, you know, this just opens a new opportunity." And then, like, 3 men sit next to her as, like, a gunshot goes off and, like, brain splatters on her. And it's like, there you go, that's all the emotion you get. Which, unfortunately, from my understanding, is more emotion than you're allowed to show in public in Germany. So it's like, Art Heart by Creeps. I pocket it, vowing to declare later how much money I'm going to spend in there. Before long, I'm in yet another line that promises an even more mortifying interaction. One by one, the animals in front of me vanish behind a ceiling-to-floor black curtain that separates the tentatively all-ages dealer's den from the adult section. It does feel a bit weird to be lining up for what is essentially the 2D and 3D Cox section in plain view. Everyone in the line knows why we're here. Honestly, though, what am I gonna do? Not look inside? Besides, I'm on a mission. Amicus, my beloved, you will soon enter my luggage and utterly mortify me if I get pulled aside by TSA for additional screening. I finally reach the front line, where there's a volunteer waiting to scan our IDs. When I reach for my wallet, however, it's gone. Oh my god, I left it in my bag in the room, didn't I? My pocket procedure is compromised. Keys, phone, wallet, every day, every time I go out. But I'm on vacation, so I thought that I'd leave my keys in the room so that I don't lose them. The entire process has failed. Once again, I am quietly excusing myself for the proximity of hot wolves and that I haven't even bought yet. I need to get back to the room before whatever happens when you don't have an ID all day. It's probably bad. There's a handkerchief tied around the doorknob. Is that pink, magenta, fuchsia? Do they expect me to keep a hanky code reference chart on hand to decipher this? Whatever it means, the room is occupied. At noon! Already. I'll just have to go somewhere else and exist without my ID. I return to the hotel lobby, wandering aimlessly. I could still go to the convention since my badge is on my lanyard, but I should probably wait for them to finish? After all, how many times could they possibly finish before they need to come down to hydrate? Speaking of, at least I can kill time with a mocha. I think stupidly as I reach for my phantom wallet. Well, this is limiting. Every year, dozens of lonely furries starve because their roomie is exceedingly popular with the boys. If you'd like to donate, call 1-800. Oh my goodness, who is this? Look at this big boy. Hey, everybody! I don't know if I'm going to stick with that voice. Oh my god, he's wearing a throat knot shirt. You cheeky fucker. Hold on, let's get a better look. I can't really see what's on his buttons that well, but I see a trans flag, a gay men flag. The pocket looks cool. I can't read what the gator says. And then something the Union. And Possum is making a spectacle of himself down in the lobby. Judging by his hair and battle jacket, he appears to be some flavor of punk affectionate. Last call for the chalk protest. We've still got room. What a weird sentence. Despite myself, I just have to ask. What kind of chalk are we protesting? God, look at this scrungly old guy. Oh, we are the Union. And the gator says, eat racists. Good. He smiles at me. Damn, it's a good one. Hey! Hey, dude! We rented a van so that we can shuttle a group down to the site of the Pulse nightclub shooting. Oh, shit, that was here? Yep, just 15 minutes away from the con. What do you say, my guy? Are you down for a little criminal mischief? This seems a little sketchy. Aren't we here to experience the convention? You know what? Fuck it, I'm in. He lights right up. Right on, bro! I'm offered a huge hand to shake. I'm Hammer, by the way. I take it. Swift. Is everyone in the Telegram group? Don't want anyone getting lost. Hammer is sitting next to me on the seat bench in the middle of the crowded van. I'm wedged between him and a bright pink snow leopard in full suit that smells like some chemical approximation of cotton candy. It doesn't mix well with the surrounding musk of sweaty dude and cheap deodorant. To recap, the Pulse shooting is the deadliest violent act against queer people in American history. Hell, it was the biggest mass shooting we'd ever had at the time. I don't like the sound of "at the time." I answered in song. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Anyway, there were over 300 folks in the nightclub at the time, celebrating Latino night. A guy walked in and opened fire, killing nearly 50 people and wounding even more. Jesus, I forgot that it was that bad. Do you know, here's a random tidbit. If you're familiar with Total Biscuit, there was actually a community member that was like prominent in his channel or streams that actually was there at the night, and he died. He was one of the victims. I believe his name was Jonas. It's the kind of thing that you don't want to remember. A fact that's caustic to the mind, so your brain doesn't want to hold on to it. For 8 years, there's been a rainbow on the crosswalk next to the memorial, but as you'd expect the kind of year that 2025 has been, they suddenly went and painted over it. That seems like such an unnecessary thing to do, right? So we're gonna go chalk it, redraw the rainbow as many have already done before us, and more will show up to do after. We're probably gonna get arrested. I don't want to get arrested. We're not gonna get arrested, dude. They arrested a guy for walking across the street with chalk on his shoes. They had to drop the charges. Still arrested. Worth it, though. Hammer pulls out his phone and looks over at me. Here, take a look at this. He wraps an arm around my shoulders while he fiddles with his phone. I'm suddenly extremely aware of his warmth against me. Be normal, brain. Play it cool. Let me introduce you to Republican Congressman Randy Fine. Wait, is that... I'm sorry, I need to check something right quick. Okay, no, it's not. Sorry, I had to very quickly Google something. Because, like, the blurred out whatever, this looks like, this looked like the no off-topic questions. That's an off-topic questions. No. Just, no. Because I said so. You have been stopped. It looked like that guy. But apparently that's somebody else. He hits play on the video, revealing a crumpled-looking guy in a suit who is awkwardly filming himself in his car. I think there are appropriate places to memorialize people. I don't think a public street is the place to promote a woke agenda. I was never going to use a normal voice. I was always going to use a stupid voice, because people who talk like this and genuinely believe shit like this are stupid. It's like they call... not gonna get into it. Wow. Fuck that guy. And you know what? I'm gonna give Hammer a different voice. He also filed HB 1421, which successfully banned trans-affirming healthcare for young people. He regularly calls us groomers. And here's Governor Ron DeSantis.
We will not allow our state roads to be commandeered for political purposes.
I also just noticed this is like a SpongeBob looking ass font. What kind of person refers to memorializing shooting victims as political? Oh, right. So they didn't remove it because it was obstructing traffic laws or whatever. They removed it because it was gay. Stay classy, Florida. The clip ends with a quote from Brandon Wolf, one of the survivors of the attack. The cowards threatened by our lives should feel lucky they didn't have to bury the ones they love. Then watch the state come and bury their memory. I'm struck by how quaint the location is, given the weighty controversy hanging over a single crosswalk. I had expected this to be an ordeal. I figured we'd be racing across 6 lanes of road, chalk in hand, to the rhythm of a walk signal before being chased off by cacophonous horns like hyenas deposed by a pack of lions. I at least expected a traffic light. No, the now infamous Pulse crosswalk is but a humble right turn into an unbusied 2-lane road. It's the kind of spot where some might cross the street without even looking up from their phones. It's across the street from a Wendy's. I'm happy to report that the memorial fence erected around the nightclub is a beauty to behold. There are dozens of colorful photos wrapped around a wavy fence that towers overhead. Someone's left fresh flowers today. The censored crosswalk, on the other hand, does give off a malicious energy that I can't quite place at first. Eventually, I realize it's because the dark rectangles along it aren't mere negative spaces on the asphalt, but pitch black. They didn't remove the rainbow from the road, they painted over it. This makes the act feel more petty. Spiteful. And once again, this is the part where I'm trying not to be political, but it's very hard because sexuality, gender identity are not political. They are not. But it's the people who fight and rail against it and about a big government, about being like, oh, big government, we don't need that, fuck that shit. Oh, big government is how you fuck over regular folks like you and me. Only to then turn around and say, big government, oh, big government, my mighty big government, please get bigger. Impose these laws so that I might protect my family from the gay. Fucking riddle me that, Batman. What kind of double standard bullshit is that? So it's not okay when a big government comes in and makes a mask mandate, but it is okay when a big government comes in and says you're not allowed to have gender affirming care. It's okay. It's not okay when big government starts talking about, you know, maybe we look at the funding of police forces and where that goes, and maybe we examine training regiments and whatnot. But it is okay when Big Daddy government comes in and promises that our guns will always remain in our possession. It's pathetic. It's sad that these weak men and women genuinely cannot comprehend the double standard. Like, really, let's be honest here. The number one threat to society is straight men. Like, I don't care if they're straight. What they do in their own time in the confines of their own home is fine. But I don't want to see it. I don't want to walk down the street and see a man holding hands with a woman. That is just against my personal beliefs. And I find that to be offensive, that when I say stuff like that, that I'm labeled as a bigot. because I am not a bigot. I am just a proponent for the American dream, because I want to make America what it always has been. You see, when you use the same fucking language and argument back at this type of bullshit, suddenly it starts to sound ridiculous, doesn't it? But no, it won't, because people who fucking that's directed at, the people who that I direct those comments towards, won't recognize that it is ridiculous. They'll just look at me as some woke lefty lib and completely fail to recognize the genuine problem that they are creating. I fucking cannot stand these people, because they're the most sensitive, entitled little snowflakes. And that's the most ironic thing. They're so easily offended that two men holding hands throws them into a frenzy. They're so entitled that they expect me working to pay into their retirement fund in the form of SSI. They are so fucking entitled and sensitive. And when you call them out on it, they just try and pull out an Uno reverse card and go, no, you, but then the fact that they worked at the like the fucking steel mill for 20 years without any OSHA regulations makes them get winded, have to stop, and then their arthritis kicks in, and we have to fucking call off the entire conversation because they're almost dead. And then they'll insist that it's because of them damn wokies. God, this episode's pissing me off as much as fucking Gainfully Employed did. Jesus fuck. Defacing site. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me say this in the Ronnie Santa voice.
Defacing sidewalk prohibited. Actually. Defacing roadway prohibited. Actually. No impeding traffic, actually.
This is pretty funny. They've gone full Mall Cop 1984 over people drawing on the street. The death of whimsy. I have a mind to drag these signs in front of a kindergarten. Imagine. Everyone pick a color and let's get started. We've got a big tub packed with a rainbow of thick sticks of chalk. Truly no expense was spared for this covert operation. I grabbed a red one, so guess I'm working on the closest stripe. The snow leopard grabbed a purple chalk, so they'll be on the far end next to the... Is that Dunkin' Donuts? That has to be a surreal location to work at. Hammer seems to think a moment before he grabs an orange stick. The color that's right next to red on the pride flag. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he did also sit next to me on the way here. Are these hints? Am I supposed to be taking a hint? You have to remember that my only frame of reference with men is from being manhandled by a racist behemoth. Taking stock of the area, I do have one concern, well, two. I should have worn sunscreen. But also, I am squarely in the get hit by cars turning off the main road, half the crosswalk. I'm relieved when the guy who had been riding shotgun in the van positions himself to keep watch. I noticed that he walks with a cane, so I guess he was never particularly interested in getting on the ground anyway. He lets us know whenever a car is coming and we all just get out of the way. Let it pass. Then get back to work. After all, this isn't a picket line. We're not here to block random people from going wherever. Hammer takes an unexpected approach to conquering his void rectangle. He drew a little shape, then an outline around that, and an outline around that, creating expanding ripples that morph and amplify the form of the original. After seeing that, scribbling like I'm answering questions on a test feels somehow inadequate. So I take to drawing a bunch of little flowers. I'm actually kind of getting into it. Who knew a furry would enjoy drawing? I make good progress for a while, but growing doubts simmer with me until they finally start to boil over. Isn't this a little futile? How do you mean? Well, it's chalk. Even if no one does anything, it's all gonna wash away. I've only been in Florida for a day, and it's already rained like 4 times. Sure. Makes it all the more ridiculous that they arrest anyone for doing it. Protests are transient by nature, though. We express our displeasure, and we remind other people who care about this stuff that they aren't alone. I care more about that than I do figuratively poking Trump in the eye. Oh no, he's hot. And it's like a ritual, right? What? You ever made a mandala? Oh! Somehow, I knew this was gonna come up. Somehow, I just knew a mandala was gonna get mentioned. We're gonna run a little bit long today because this episode did get me a little heated. No? In Buddhism, they spend days creating this amazing, intricate design out of colored sand. It's beautiful. But it's sand, right? So they do it all knowing that it's going to be destroyed. That's just part of it for them. They craft it for the blessing, and then sweep it all away to remind themselves that all of this is temporary. He gestures around. I'm probably getting it wrong, but all that, it just feels human. I think for a moment. I guess it's like when you draw on the sand on the beach at low tide, and then later waves wash it all away. Exactly. It's not about the chalk, it's about the energy that we're putting into the world. I look down at my flowers then through them to the black paint beneath. What kind of energy are you putting into the world when you decide to paint over a memorial? Does it stain your soul black as well? This is a site of queer trauma. I can't heal it. I can't even grieve, really, since I didn't know them. But I can pay my respects over the scar. The group parts to let a pickup truck out of the side street, but instead the driver, a chubby guy in a tie-dye shirt, hops out with a smile. Hey, you guys rock! Before long, he's giving soft hugs to anyone who will take them. Fresh chalk dust clinging to his already chaotic attire. You know I accepted. I went to donate blood the night it happened. It was so fucked up. I had to do something, you know? Cool. I don't feel like I gave enough of a response. When I got there, the line was huge. People dropped everything to be there. We love to see it. That's what community is all about. Yeah, I think that's the takeaway. One guy was a monster, but people will try to do good if you let them. I heard that the hospital refused to bill anyone too. I couldn't donate blood though. They turned me away for being gay. Hammer sighs with his entire body in commiseration. You can't make this shit up. We say our farewells when someone finally pulls up behind that guy's car and honks at us. Okay, so we've obstructed traffic a little bit at this point, but in the neighborly way. Once tie-dye guy moves on, we also allow the other car to pass. Damn, the old man in the driver's seat has the deepest scowl I've ever seen. I'm glad that he keeps driving. He looks like the sort that has all the time in the world to make themselves a problem. We pass the time chatting as we draw, stewing in the hot, damp air. I'm actually pretty far along by the time that... And with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a good night, guys.